obviously not to this extent. And I think the ceiling that Alex Eala has is obviously that much higher. And I'm going to bring in a little boxing here because my dad wanted me to be a boxer, but I chose tennis. But Manny Pacquiao.
Good call.
Manny Pacquiao, we saw him when he, was at the top of his game. And alongside Roger Federer, he actually had more prizes.
The analysts are holding nothing back right now. They are going all in with their assessments of her talent. There is no hedging of bets or attempts to soften their language with diplomatic fluff. They are being incredibly direct. They are pulling out all the stops and making a bold declaration. They are stating that Alex Eala is currently the most famous figure in the entire Women's Tennis Association world. This is all happening before the first ball has been served at Indian Wells. The official draws have not even been finalized yet. Despite that, the conversation across the professional tennis landscape is already centered on a single individual. That name is Alex Eala. From active competitors to the greatest players of all time, everyone is looking in the same direction. They are all echoing the same sentiment. Alex Eala has become the most significant name in women's tennis today. It is high time the sport acknowledges this reality in its entirety. The experts are pushing the narrative even further by ranking her above legends who spent decades shaping the sport. This includes the perspective of Ana Ivanovic. The former Grand Slam champion was part of an expert panel where she delivered a statement that left everyone in the room absolutely stunned. She observed that Alex Eala has already eclipsed the level of fame and global recognition that Sania Mirza achieved over her entire illustrious career. She framed this observation with the utmost respect. She made it very clear that this comparison was not meant to diminish the icons who paved the way. Instead, it was a sincere admission that the global attention and fanatical devotion Eala is generating is something the Women's Tennis Association has never seen at this scale or velocity. At that point, Ana Ivanovic decided to take the discussion to an entirely different dimension. Keep in mind, this is a former Grand Slam winner and a Roland Garros champion speaking. She is someone who reached the very top of the world rankings and understands the immense pressure of carrying the hopes of an entire sport. Ivanovic stepped forward and offered a comparison that made the entire tennis world stop and take notice. She likened Alex Eala's influence on women's tennis to the cultural impact Manny Pacquiao had on boxing at the height of his fame. She is doing more than just competing. She is effectively pulling the entire spotlight of the sport toward herself and forcing the world to pay close attention. Ivanovic was incredibly precise and unwavering in the points she made next. If Alex Eala maintains this current trajectory and continues to play at this elite level, she will be unstoppable. Reaching the summit of the sport is no longer a distant fantasy for her. It is the definitive destination she approaches, with every single match she contests and every court she graces. I truly believe that if Eala continues to find success on the court, there is no telling how far she can go.
I think that if Eala, can keep doing well with her tennis, who knows? The sky's the limit on the court, off the court. I mean, she could be rolling in it if you.
What makes this story so fascinating is that the experts are looking beyond just her statistical results. They are focusing on her character and who she is as a person. They are highlighting the way she presents herself with profound humility and a deep, genuine respect for the sport and the people around her. While discussing her victory over Iga Swiatek, analysts pointed out that she never allows the massive spotlight to inflate her ego. She manages the fame like a true legend. She carries herself with an elegant poise and a silent assurance that makes the audience trust her and support her with even greater fervor. This unique blend of world-class tennis ability and a truly authentic persona is incredibly rare in the modern era. It is the exact quality the sports world is constantly hunting for, yet Alex Eala possesses it naturally, without even trying.
Last year, when she beat Iga Swiatek, and she kind of did it with a lot of grace and humility, and it was really, for me, it was terrific to see her take that match and watch her play after that and watch her try to continue to progress, because I like her game. Obviously, she wants to get better than where she is now.
Then Sam Querrey, the former Grand Slam finalist, decided to weigh in on the situation. As a man who competed at the pinnacle of the professional circuit, He understands the inner workings of the game perfectly, and his statement was incredibly powerful. He explicitly stated that Alex Eala is the premier attraction in the Women's Tennis Association right now. She is not just one of the best, she is the undisputed biggest draw. He argued that her ability to generate excitement and command attention has surpassed every other player on the tour in that vital category. Every single time she prepares to compete, the environment shifts in a way that is impossible to fake. Whenever she steps onto the court, there is a distinct change in the energy of the stadium that simply cannot be manufactured. This connection is completely organic and belongs entirely to her, leading Querrey to make a point that was truly eye-opening. He hinted that some of the top 10 players in the world, including stars like Aryna Sabalenka, are taking notice. These are women who have committed their entire lives to reaching the absolute summit of professional tennis. These athletes have secured the most prestigious titles in the game, yet they might be watching the phenomenon surrounding Eala with a very specific kind of curiosity. These are established champions who have conquered every challenge the professional tour has thrown their way. However, the massive wave of fanatical devotion that follows Eala everywhere is something they simply cannot overlook. Querrey spoke these words because the current climate of the sport necessitates that kind of brutal honesty. Is she truly the biggest draw in women's tennis at this moment? The answer is a definitive yes. People are asking if she is a bigger attraction than Sabalenka or Coco Gauff, and the reality is truly staggering. She is creating the same kind of buzz that Joao Fonseca did on the men's side in Miami, but the consensus is that her impact is even more significant. It truly is remarkable, especially considering how the crowds in Doha were absolutely captivated by her performance last week. That is absolutely correct, and the numbers speak for themselves. She is undeniably the player to watch, not just for her skill, but for the electric atmosphere that makes you want to tune into every match. There might even be a hint of professional jealousy from the veteran players who see this young star rising so quickly. Now, the narrative is shifting even deeper as we move beyond the opinions of commentators and analysts. The actual players on the tour are now beginning to voice their own perspectives on the matter. Jessica Pegula, who is widely regarded as one of the most consistent and seasoned competitors in the game, shared her thoughts. She stepped forward to describe her personal encounter with Alex Eala at the Miami Open, and her account was nothing short of extraordinary. Pegula admitted that when she stepped on the court, she was completely taken aback by the reception. She was caught totally off guard by the intensity of the fans. Nothing could have prepared her for the electric atmosphere that had reached a fever pitch before the first serve was even made. The sheer size of the audience was staggering to behold. The environment was pulsing with a loud, passionate energy that Pegula confessed was far beyond anything she had expected to encounter in that match. She described the scene as insane, using the term with the highest degree of respect and amazement rather than as a complaint. She realized she was witnessing a historic moment in real time, and she followed that realization by making a point of significant importance. She noted that regardless of whether the tournament was in Miami, at the Australian Open, or in Dubai, the story remained the same. Alex Eala has consistently attracted the most fervent crowd support of any athlete currently on the tour, across every continent and through every season. Spectators are turning out in numbers that no other professional player is currently able to match in the modern game. Fans are making long-distance journeys across the globe specifically to catch a glimpse of her in action. People are enduring lines that are significantly longer than those for any standard match, simply for the opportunity to be present when she competes. That profound, magnetic bond between an athlete and a global audience is exactly what professional tennis has been trying to develop for years. Yet, here is Alex Eala, achieving it organically through her raw skill, her charisma, and the sheer inspiration of her journey. As she continues to perform week after week, the momentum surrounding her keeps building to a crescendo. She has solidified her reputation as an elite competitor on the circuit, and the fans are turning out in droves to show their support. This phenomenon was clearly visible in Australia, where the crowds were so large that her assigned court simply could not hold them all. The roar of the audience is so powerful that it can be heard clearly from the nearby hotels, which is truly a mind-blowing realization. The Australian Open served as a global stage that proved just how authentic and massive this movement has truly become. The images of fans gathered outside the stadium were unlike anything that prestigious tournament had witnessed in a very long time. Endless queues formed with people clinging to the slim hope that they might somehow gain entry to the venue. A large number of those dedicated supporters never even made it past the gates to see the match in person. They invested their hard-earned money and valuable time to travel to Melbourne, only to end up listening to the cheers of a crowd they could not join. Yet they stayed because being near the energy was enough. This speaks volumes about the level of devotion and inspiration that Alex Eala is able to ignite in her fans. The impact is truly profound. And then, the legendary Novak Djokovic decided to contribute his perspective to the ongoing conversation. We are talking about the most successful tennis player in history, a man who holds more Grand Slam titles than anyone else who has ever lived. This is an individual who has navigated the highest levels of professional tennis for more than 2 decades. Djokovic explicitly stated that Alex Eala is the greatest player ever to come out of the Philippines, and insisted she deserves the highest level of recognition. He also addressed the specific ways her tournament schedules and court placements have been handled by various organizers. He was very intentional about making his stance known to the entire tennis community. He stated unequivocally that, in his opinion, the management of her matches has not always accurately reflected her status as a premier draw. When a figure of Novak Djokovic's stature speaks, the entire tennis universe falls silent and pays close attention to every word. This is the undisputed greatest of all time, standing his ground to declare that Alex Eala deserves more, and that the sport has a responsibility to her and her millions of fans to ensure she is treated fairly. These are the types of significant shifts and moments that are currently defining the landscape of the game. One could certainly make the case that the scheduling was subpar and that she should have been placed on a much more prominent court to accommodate the demand. However, we must also remember that she is still incredibly young and is only just beginning her ascent through the professional ranks. The discussions surrounding Alex have been constant and intense, and it is perfectly understandable why her narrative has captivated so many people globally. Representing the Philippines is a massive responsibility, and she has already established herself as the most significant tennis player her nation has ever produced. There is an overwhelming level of global interest coming from analysts, former Grand Slam champions, current players, and the greatest athlete to ever pick up a racket. They are all in complete agreement that Alex Eala is the next true superstar of the Women's Tennis Association world and the most talked-about name in the sport. As we head into Indian Wells, she is the primary focus of the conversation, generating an electric buzz long before the first point is ever played. When she finally steps onto that court, the eyes of the entire tennis world will be fixed upon her, because that is the unique power Alex Eala possesses. She has a rare ability to command the attention of the entire world. And now I would like to hear your perspective on this phenomenon. Do you believe Alex Eala is truly the most famous player on the tour right now? Or do you think the excitement has outpaced her actual on-court results? When a legendary figure like Ana Ivanovic compares her impact to that of Manny Pacquiao, do you find that comparison accurate, or does it seem like an exaggeration to you? Furthermore, what are your thoughts on the incredible scene Jessica Pegula described witnessing during their match at the Miami Open? Have you ever seen this level of crowd intensity for a rising star before? Please share your thoughts with us in the comments section below. Is Alex Eala the genuine article? Or do we need to see her maintain this level of performance over a longer period before we officially name her the new face of women's tennis?